Hi everyone, welcome back to Vedic Life Coaching. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome to the Mercury Retrograde video. We are going to take a look at Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio. I also want to welcome any new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. And if you'd like, you can jump straight into your mini report. I've got a mini report for every single sign this time, as I usually do. But if you want to stick with me for the introduction, you are so welcome. I also just want to say this is the first time I'm chatting with you all since the election. Wow, it has happened. And yeah, when I first saw the news, I just thought, wow, this looks like a real election has happened, you know, the real thing happened. And that is Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius, the power is with the people. The people have spoken and the people got their will executed, which is quite incredible. And I remember when Saturn was in Capricorn for 2020, it was the elite that got their way, you know, they got their result. And I think for me personally, I was still carrying that Saturn in Capricorn energy in my mind. I hadn't let go of that. But if I had let go of that, well, maybe I would have seen more clearly. Mind you, I was taking a look at the results today, and one thing I had said was that I think Dr. Jill Stein is going to do really well in this time's election. And I'll put up some headlines by my side. You'll be able to see that she did do really well. She did better than expected. Saturn was, I think, 11th from her moon. You know, it's a platform building time for her. Saturn gifted her. She's a person who is clearly working hard and doing good work as well. So Saturn was able to reward her for all the good work that she has been doing. So I thought that was a really positive thing. And, you know, yes, we can see that the people's will has been adhered to. Saturn in Aquarius, the power is with the people have spoken. So I think that that is, you know, a good result there. And I think for any Democrats that are, you know, just feeling the loss or feeling that their party didn't do as well as they would have liked, I think the Democrat Party has a great opportunity now to rebuild. And I just a couple of days ago, I went on to the YouTube channel of Marianne Williamson just to see, I wonder what she's doing and I wonder what she's saying. She's always got some clever thing to say. And what I think is that if the Democrat Party can rebuild around someone like her to take them forward, then wouldn't that be amazing? You know, I mean, in 2028, could it be that she's running against, I don't know, is it going to be J.D. Vance? Is it going to be Tulsi Gabbard? Who's it going to be? And I remember when I was doing my notes for the election, and I think for just the month of November, I think it was, I got that channeled message, which was the last of the lowest. And I still believe in that. I think that's true. I think, you know, for the next election, there's going to be much better quality candidates, and it's going to be a different game, and it's going to be a lot of darkness will have been cleared out by then. You know, 2025 is a Mars year. You've now got a Mars leader in place. I should have checked this before hitting record, but I'm pretty sure Donald Trump is Mars in Leo in the first house. So you've got a Mars leader there taking you into the next year. I think that a lot of things will dismantle, a lot of things will change. And you know, that'll make way for new energies. It'll make way for good new beginnings. 2026 is supposed to be the year of new beginnings. So I think there's stuff to look forward to. And, you know, any time in life when we don't get our way, there's some kind of opportunity that we're not seeing. And you can tune into Marianne Williamson because she's just full of opportunity and full of excitement. She's working really hard right now, because I think she too feels like she could be in line for, you know, a stronger position or something like that. Interesting times. Anyway, let's get into Mercury retrograde. What is going to happen here? This is really interesting stuff. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and this is from the 26th of November to the 16th of December. So Mercury, the young prince type of character there. We've got Mercury the young prince, but we've got Scorpio here. Now, it's interesting because Mercury does transit really well in Scorpio, even though it will come up that, Mercury is in an enemy sign. But Mercury does do really well here. So I don't see this as being a bad transit at all. I think this can be really good. I've got here, this Mercury retrograde is somewhat special because Mercury's Lord Mars will also retrograde from 7 December to 24th Feb 2025. So we can see that there's going to be some crossover here between, there'll be a chunk of time where Mercury is retrograde and Mars is retrograde at the same time. So those dates are going to be 7 December to 16th December. You're going to have both of them retrograde at the same time. I've got here, this time is especially important where both of these planets will be retrograde. Now, it's a debilitated Mars in Cancer. So when we're looking at the meaning of these two planets, we can see that action is not going to be a priority. Mars is not strong and empowered at this time. So action is not a priority, but being strategic is a priority. Your intelligence will be sharp. You'll be able to see ahead. You'll be able to plan ahead. We've got energy here in Scorpio. You might even be able to see hidden agendas. You might be able to see behind the scenes. You might be able to figure things out ahead of time. So it's really interesting, this Mercury retrograde. I've got here, your intelligence will pierce through illusion easier, but it might not be easy to act on your new insights. Okay, as Mercury is in an enemy sign. As I say, Mercury does transit well through, 8th house or Scorpio. It's a good transit for Mercury, but it's lorded by Mars, but it's lorded by a weak Mars. So Mercury is actually quite strong at this time. I've got here, there is the energy to work smarter, not harder at this time. Where can you be more strategic and achieve more with less effort? That's also something we can be looking at. There is also energy here to make smart choices around any addictions or any dependency relationships that you might have. Maybe you'll gain insights or strategies into how to get yourself to be more independent at this time. So I think we're good to go. Let's take a look. We're going to go right through the stars. How are we doing on time? We're okay. And I'm also just looking at the lighting. I kind of want to open the blind a little bit. The sun is setting. I think that's better, because the fact of the matter is that it's going to get dark very quickly. So we're going to run out of light. All right, this is better. All right, Aries. Who's joining me? You joining me for the whole thing, everybody? Is anyone going to watch the whole thing? Some of you do. My astrology students do, and that's a good idea. All right, Aries. Aries, welcome. Welcome, Aries. This could be Aries Sun, Aries Ascendant, Aries Sun, Aries Moon, any of these. Welcome, welcome. So now Mercury is going to retrograde in 8th house Scorpio for you. This is a good time to strategically review any dependency relationships you have. So these could be addictions. Maybe you think, do you know what? I can't get through my day without coffee. Well, that could be a little place to start to gain some self-mastery. Maybe you want to be in charge of the coffee rather than the coffee be in charge of you. So I've got here, you want to strategically review any dependency relationships you have. See, and I'm not saying never have a coffee again. I'm not saying that. But it's the thing of, I want to be in charge of that thing, whatever that thing is. So these could be addictions I've got here, but also things that you think you need in order to achieve more in your life. And I've got here, for example, some people think that they need an expensive camera before they start a YouTube channel, but that's not true. What you need to start the YouTube channel is you just need to do it. And I know that Mars is debilitated at this time and, not in the best shape for action. But this is a great time to plan. And then maybe you're going to start that channel, in the new year or whatever it is. It might not be a channel. I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm saying. I've got here, look at the things that you don't need. Perhaps it's time to let those things go. And I've got here, Mars being retrograde in the 4th house may mean that you are tired. It could be that you get new insights, but you don't have as much energy to act on them It's perfectly fine, because you're going to have better energy as you step into 2025. Aries, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Taurus. Taurus, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just checking on the light. I'm recording this at sunset, so we're going to have some interesting light in the video today. All right, what have we got, Taurus? So now this is Taurus ascendant, Taurus moon, or Taurus sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in your 7th house. So that's in 7th house, Scorpio. This is a time to review your relationships, especially with, now it's interesting because I've got here peers, teammates, or even friends, as Mars is retrograde for a portion of the transit in your 3rd house. This could also be that you are literally reviewing your relationships with your significant other, or the person that you're married to, your committed partner. This could be your business partner. So this could be quite a lot of people. I kind of get the sense, Taurus, actually, that you are reviewing a lot of your relationships, okay? So you definitely want to be looking kind of, at all your relationships. And I've got here, see if you can review your side of the tennis net more than the other side of the tennis net. And this tennis net analogy, I've really got this from a guy called Jerry Wise. You might want to check him out on YouTube. He's really great. But I've got here, see if you can review your side more when analyzing your relationships. Where do you fail to express your needs, or your tastes, or your likes, or your dislikes? Where are you not speaking up? And what assumptions are you making about other people? And what expectations do you have? Okay, so you want to be looking at things, you want to be making sure that you're not being unfair, but equally, if there's a boundary that you need to set, you want to put that in. You want to put in your boundaries. So there's a lot to consider here. I've got here, it's a great time to review your standards regarding other people, and it's fine to have high standards. I think as you grow spiritually, you start to become really sensitive. There's a lot more sensitivity, and your standards go up, and that's just how that is. So it's great to review your standards regarding other people, and also this is a time for you to tighten up behaviors on your end as well. What do you need to tighten up so that the same old stuff doesn't keep repeating in your life? Taurus, it is looking like a good retrograde for you, though it does look like there's a lot for you to figure out in relationships, but that's all right. I think you're going to figure it out really well. Thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Gemini. Gemini, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Gemini ascendant, Gemini moon, or Gemini sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 6th house. So this is a time to review how you compete with other people, and you could also be, or you could be reviewing your service or your work in the world, or your career, your job, what it is that you do, how you serve. Also, as Mars is retrograding in the 2nd house, you might want to review your finances, get up to speed on admin, or keep a close eye on investments, or be working out plans on how to increase your savings, your big wealth, or even just starting a savings plan, or whatever that is. This is that kind of planning, strategic, organizing type energy that we have here. I've got here, please take extra care in your relationships and how you speak with others. Be extra careful, be measured, and double check emails before hitting send. That's just always a good practice, isn't it, Gemini? Well, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Cancer. Cancer, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Cancer ascendant, Cancer moon, or Cancer sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 5th house. So this is a time to review your investments. If you've got investments in the stock market or any of that kind of thing, perhaps you're reviewing creative projects, that are really dear to you, or this could be something to do with your children as well. Perhaps you're having to review something on their behalf or take care of admin to do with your children's school or paperwork or something along these lines. I've got here, as Mars is retrograding in your first house, you might find yourself reviewing a major decision or even changing pathways at this time. So it's ranging from, this Mercury retrograde is ranging from everything from like maybe just small administrative things to this could be like a total change in path or change in direction in one of these areas. It could be really quite big. And also because Mars is retrograding in your first house, that could be to do with any aspect of your life. And I've got the note here, you have time to course correct. Be thorough, be organized, and aim for the very best. Cancer, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Leo. Leo, welcome, thank you so much for joining. So this is Leo Ascendant, Leo Moon, or Leo Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 4th house. So this is an ideal time to review paperwork to do with your home or your possessions or your vehicles. Perhaps you need to do some admin or update something or renew insurance documents or any of that. That's just reminding me actually, I have got some paperwork with my new hot water system that I had installed in my place, and each year I need to be mindful. I think for me it's July every year. I need to be mindful that I call an engineer to check everything, and then they have to sign this piece of paper, and that piece of paper is going to keep the warranty good for 10 years. It's that kind of stuff that you want to be turning your attention to, Leo. Mercury retrograde, this is like Mercury's covering old ground again. It's giving you the opportunity, as well as is happening in Scorpio, and Scorpio can be assets, shared assets, but for you this is 4th house. So this is all the things to do with your home, could be to do with your car, insurance, any of that. So I just thought of one example in my life. It's definitely my boiler, warranty paper or whatever. I've got here, if there's no need to do any of these things, maybe you're a student, maybe you don't have to deal with all this stuff, which is so wonderful. If there's no need to do any of these things, then you have great energy to do some serious clutter clearing. Mars is going to retrograde for a bit in your 12th house of losses. So this is actually a really good time to get rid of old physical things, old physical objects, clutter, or any of that. If you're not using it or you're not going to use it, it's time to get rid of it. So Leo, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Virgo. Virgo, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Virgo Ascendant, Virgo Moon, or Virgo Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and that's going to happen in your 3rd house. So this is a good time to review projects that you are hoping will bring in another income. Okay, and that's because Mars, Lord of where Mercury is seated there in the 11th house for a bit. Mars is also going to retrograde at the same time. And so you can strategically review how you bring in abundance or how you grow your networks. You might also use this energy to review your friendships with peers, colleagues, and siblings. And it's really important here to take into account your role in any issue. So for example, what assumptions have you made about other people? And what expectations do you have? And I've got here, it might be time to adjust those factors. So Virgo, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Libra. Libra, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm checking on the time. We're okay. Libra, what's going on? Let's have a look. So Libra Ascendant, Libra Moon, or Libra Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 2nd house. So this is a really great time to review your finances, savings, wealth, your career. Mars is going to retrograde in your 10th house for a bit at the same time. So you might be reviewing particular work projects, or you might even be reviewing your career trajectory as a whole. And if you're reviewing your career trajectory as a whole, you want to look at what would you love to do? You know, if money were not the thing, what would be fun for you? You know, how do you spend your time anyway? What's your passion? All that kind of thing. This is a good career time, but specifically it's a good time to strategize about your career, to think about next year, to think about where would you like to be in 5 years, think about where would you like to be in 10 years. And sometimes, you know, you might have a Mahadasha change and you end up doing something totally different. It doesn't matter. It's still good to dream. You know, dream now. It's still good. Dream and plan. And especially plan with Mercury. This is strategic. And yeah, it is quite career related. Mercury loves to think about these things. And I've got here, it's important to take extra care in how you speak to family members or co-workers. And definitely double check emails before hitting send. All right, Libra. Well, thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Scorpio. Scorpio, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Scorpio Ascendant, Scorpio Moon, or Scorpio Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury retrogrades in your sign. Okay, so this is about you, Scorpio. It's retrograding in your first house. So this is a great time to review any aspect of your life from a strategic point of view. And you will know what that aspect of life is at this time. It's, you know, whatever you've been going through kind of more recently, say for example in the last few weeks, if there are any standout areas, you will want to review those again, but strategically. Okay, this is the kind of thing where you get to think extra about something. Now, Mars is also retrograde at the same time for a bit. There's a little chunk where they're both retrograde, and this is happening in your 9th house. So this is a great time to review your own personal power and authority to take charge of your own life. Okay, so when you're reviewing your life strategically, you're looking at, how do I change things so that I can be more empowered? How do I change things so that I can be more independent? I want the freedom to do my thing. I don't want to be trapped here. I don't want to be stuck in a box. I don't want to be, I don't want any of that, right? This is your time to now think of plans to improve your life, or to improve any particular aspect of your life. But it's definitely from a bit of a leadership standpoint as well, here with the 9th house energy. And I've got here, where are you living on borrowed power? And where are you living on the power you generate from within your own being? And when I wrote that earlier today, I thought, oh, Yogananda said something about this, because I'm reading him each night. And he had this brilliant little quote about how we've got enough energy to, what does it say here? Run the city of Chicago for 2 days. I'm going to read you this quote. It is so good. Because when I read this, I was like, oh, that's good. So he says, don't look on yourself as a weak mortal. Incredible amounts of energy are hidden in your brain. Enough in a gram of flesh to run the city of Chicago for 2 days. And you say you are tired? Isn't that cool? I love that quote. So I thought of this for you, Scorpio. And it's funny because when I was doing the notes today, I thought you were the only one who was going to get this quote. But I hope you don't mind, because when I completed the notes, I was like, oh, Pisces could do with that quote as well. So I'm going to be repeating the same quote here in this video. But I love that quote. It really does get me to think about how much of my tiredness is self-generated by my own mind. And quite a bit of it. It's coming from up here. I can see that in me. Anyway, Scorpio, I hope this has been a good mini reading for you. We are now going to welcome Sagittarius. Sagittarius, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So Mercury is going to retrograde for you in your 12th house. This is 12th house Scorpio. Right, I really like this. I think this is very interesting. So I've got here your own thoughts could be quite divinely inspired at this time. And I've got here, become excellent at observing your own mind and your own thoughts at this time, as there might be some divine jewels that get planted there. I remember soon after reading, I think it was A New Earth, and before that I read The Power of Now. And I remember when I did all that Eckhart Tolle work, and this was many, many years ago, but it was through him that I really started to observe my own mind. I thought, right, I've just got to observe my thoughts. And yeah, I still do that activity. That's the meditative lifestyle. But then you do start to spot little bits of divine guidance in there, the more you observe your own thinking. Some of that internal voice and some of that internal chatter, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it is actually divine guidance. Isn't that amazing? So look out for that, because you're going to have possibly quite a bit of that at this time. Your own internal chatter. Your angels, guides, ancestors, they might be planting things in there, trying to help you to shift something or do something or whatever it is. Now Mars, the Lord of Scorpio, is going to retrograde for a bit at the same time. And that's going to be happening in your 8th house. So spiritual development or self-development work at this time can yield you extra special insights. And I've got here, you can potentially plumb the depths of your own soul at this time. Pretty amazing, Sagittarius. You've got, I would say, the most special Mercury retrograde going on here. So hope you enjoy that. And keep a little notebook maybe. If you're a writer, author, artist, you want to be documenting the ideas that come at this time. All right, we are going to welcome Capricorn. Capricorn, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. This is Capricorn Ascendant, Capricorn Moon, or Capricorn Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury retrogrades in your 11th house, and that's going to be in Scorpio. This is a great time to review your relationships with co-workers, older siblings, and or your partner, your romantic partner. It's also a great time to review your relationship with your commitments. So your commitments could be projects, it could be your business, it could be a book that you are writing, it could be, did I say projects or business? Well, projects, a book that you're writing, or a business that you run. Could also be your business partner as well. Okay, so what are you committed to? What are you passionate about? What are your non-negotiables? I've also got here that you might want to review how you bring in opportunities or any investments you might have. So you might want to review how you bring opportunities in. You might want to review your investments, and especially if you have foreign investments, as Mars is in your 7th house, or if perhaps, say for example, you are, I don't know, you're running a business that has foreign connections or something like that. You might want to review that relationship there. Capricorn, it's looking like a pretty good Mercury retrograde for you. A lot of things to review here, especially regarding your relationships, but you're reviewing them from a strategic point of view. This is just time to think, reassess, re-strategize, maybe even create plans or dreams for the future as well in some of these areas. Thank you so much for joining. We are now going to welcome Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome. Aquarius, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Moon, or Aquarius Sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 10th house. So this is a great time to seriously review your career and the direction you are taking. Are there things you want to change? And this is a good time to strategically think about what changes you would like to make. So is your career feeding you in more ways than one? It might be bringing you money and putting the food on the table, keeping the roof over your head. But career can be so much more than that. Career can be really fulfilling. Career can be something that you love to do. Career can be something where you're helping people and you feel like you're making some kind of difference in the world. So you might want to start thinking about that. And you might also want to start thinking about careers that require more of your creativity as well. Jobs that are really fulfilling are the creative ones. You know, they're either creative or we're directly helping someone. And we've seen as well with the pandemic, we saw what the careers and jobs are that we all really require and need and depend on. And, you know, working in shops and things like that is really meaningful and purposeful because we all depend on that. We all need that. It's so important. So yeah, that's another thing when we look at careers and work and what we do. Don't look through society's eyes. Look through your eyes. Look through what it is that you want to do. And don't look through your parents' eyes. Because they've got all their ideas, but that might be different to what you want to do. So we've got here, as Mars retrogrades in your 6th house, it's also a good time to look critically at how you serve others. How do you share your gifts or talents? And is your work in line with your higher values? And for you, it's really interesting. As I was putting these notes together earlier today, a little quote came in my mind. I thought, wasn't there a good quote about means and ends by Martin Luther King Jr.? And there was, and the quote was, means we use must be as pure as the ends we seek. I loved that quote. I thought that was really beautiful. So something to think about there, Aquarius. I hope you have a good Mercury retrograde. We are now going to welcome Pisces. Pisces, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So this is Pisces ascendant, Pisces moon, or Pisces sun, as per the sidereal Vedic system of astrology. So Mercury is going to retrograde in Scorpio, and for you that's happening in your 9th house. So this is a great time to review what the word leadership means to you and how you demonstrate leadership in your daily life. And the reason I say this is because we've got Mercury retrograding in your 9th house, but we're going to have Mars retrograding at the same time. There's a portion of crossover, and that's going to happen in your 5th house for a little bit. And I've got here, this is about authority, this is about power, and the choices that you make with your free will that are going to lead yourself to better outcomes. And the other thing I also want to say for you, Pisces, is because you've got your Saturn 12 from your sign, you're looking at internal leadership. Okay, so it's like, you know, this is a time where you're not particularly on the playing field of life. Maybe there's a little bit of scaffolding around you or something. This has come up in the book club, Caroline Mace's book, and she talks about when you're having some internal work done, it's like there's scaffolding up around you kind of thing because you're reconstructing something. And it could well be that you, at this time with the Mercury retrograde, you're being given an opportunity to reconstruct or redefine what is your relationship with that word leadership. What does the word leadership mean to you? Internal leadership. There's lots of ways you can look at leadership. And I've got here, for me, yeah, I actually do have a definition of leadership. And I've got here, leadership is doing the right thing, whether it benefits you or not. So that is one way that I like to see leadership. But this is a time where you can be creating your definition of leadership. What does it mean? How does it work within you? How does it work within your daily life? How do you relate to it? What is leadership? That could be a really good thing for you to journal or think about or meditate on. This is the energy to do that Mercury retrograde in the 9th house. And I've got a quote for you, which I also gave to Scorpio. And this is by Yogananda. And he says here, don't look on yourself as a weak mortal. Incredible amounts of energy are hidden in your brain. Enough in a gram of flesh to run the city of Chicago for 2 days. And you say you are tired? I love that quote. I just think that's so good. And when I was putting these notes together today, because I'm reading his book each night before I sleep, I'm always underlining all the little bits and like, you know, if there's a, so then I just hopped on the Kindle and I searched for Chicago because I'd read it a few, I don't know, maybe a week ago or so. And I was like, oh, there's that quote. Because yeah, that just feels like an appropriate quote at this time with the Mercury retrograde. It's like we get to strategically review things, we get to think about things, and we must also remember that we are powerful and we can do it regardless of whatever's going on in the sky. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. I've got so much work to do this week. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for your comments. And I look forward to seeing you next time.